Okay, well, it's finally over. After almost, I think, 2 hours of showing off games and exclusives. To an extent, they were exclusives. Most of them were just console launch exclusives that come on PC first. But overall, I thought there were some interesting things that they showed, especially not so much the exclusive stuff, but everything else I thought was kind of pretty good, especially with the Front Software thing. I got a list of stuff. Awesome. All the great announcement that they made. So first up, they started with Halo Infinite. Unfortunately, we didn't see anything. All we saw was a CG trailer, which is, fine, it's enough. The game's going to come later. They had to show something off that's exclusive because they really don't have much coming else at the end of the year. Everything else is already released. And yeah, they're pretty much banking on next year. They have nothing this year, really. So at the moment, I think Microsoft is still struggling in terms of their popularity. They attempted with the Xbox One X to make a difference, but that didn't really do anything, because now that you see that they're doing the Play Xbox Anywhere with the play it on mobile, play it on your PC, and anything else. So they're kind of ruling out the whole Xbox One X thing that they released. So that's a bit concerning, but as expected, they're working on the next Xbox, which is, Nintendo's working on the next Nintendo, Sony's working on the next PlayStation. They don't have to announce that to know that. So but a lot of games were showed, so overall it was good. As a company, it didn't help them out too much, but they still got the hype going. E3 is about the hype. But there were some really cool ones, like Battletoads. I can't wait to see gameplay for that. Don't know when. I hope that's not delayed for a long time. Crackdown 3, that should have been released. That should have already been released last year. It got delayed again, and now it's getting delayed again until next year. So that game is just a big mess. When they started it, it was ambitious, and now it's just gone to nothing. I don't know who's going to buy Crackdown, and I don't know. I hope it goes well, actually, but I have a lot of concerns with that game. They're trying to just go off pop culture with Terry Crews. That's the actor. They just got Terry Crews to do a bunch of voice acting and things for it. I know he's getting into it all and that he's excited for it, but I feel like Microsoft are trying to get the hype of an actor to carry their game, as opposed to adding new things to get the game going, Let's see what's going on. But yeah, overall I thought it was enjoyable. They said there was 18 exclusive games. They did the same thing. They tricked you like last year, where they said there's exclusives, but most of them aren't. They're coming to PC first, and they're coming to Xbox before PlayStation. So that doesn't really make too much of a difference. They got that new Skate game, I guess. That's not even exclusive. That's just a timed exclusive. And they showed nothing of it. No gameplay. Gameplay is probably the most important thing that people are looking for, and I feel like they didn't show that much of it. Again, Gears of War I understand, because I feel like that's early development along with Halo. So the thing about those games are they're so high on the tier list of Xbox and in the gaming industry in general that they don't really have to show gameplay for the initial reveal. But it would be nice, because from what I can see, since they don't have any gameplay to show, those games are very far away from releasing. And I can expect a lot of delays like Microsoft do with a lot of their exclusive titles. In terms of their exclusive lineup, it's kind of it's a bit, really lackluster until they release those games, which are actually exciting. Also, that Gears, what's that other Gears game that they announced? The Gears Tactics. I thought that looked really good, so I can't wait for that to come out. It's so convenient how GameStop has just straight up gotten all the information onto their website. Sekio, I think that's how you say it. Sekio. Sekio. Shadows Die Twice. That was the teaser that they did at the Game Awards last year. I was not expecting a samurai setting, but whatever it is, it looks really good. The movements are looking frame perfect and everything. The combat looks great. There's a big counter and parry system to it, and I can't wait to see what kind of different gameplay elements there are compared to just sword combat. Because being from Software, they're gonna add more than just swords. And yeah, I think so. This is pretty much From Software next. That's their next big project. So they had Bloodborne, they had Dark Souls. Dark Souls is finished. I thought honestly this was going to be a Bloodborne sequel, but I would have preferred a new IP, and this is what ended up happening. So yeah, I trust From Software can do a good job. There is currently no release date, so you can expect it to come out next year. From Software don't usually delay things too much. They're really on time, and they really focus on whatever they're making at one time. They don't split up their division at all. They work on one game, they release it, and everything they release really does turn to gold. So, if you're unaware of From Software's games before Dark Souls series and that, they made Armored Core, which is pretty much an action RPG with mechs and that, and it's a fairly solid series. So, but to me, this is their bread and butter, the action RPG series, and it's looking really solid. So I can't go wrong with this game. This is easily a day one buy, along with Gears and Halo, because that's fairly standard. They're going to be great games regardless. The Games Pass, I almost fell asleep during that. I don't like how they just shove Game Pass down your throat, because it almost feels like an excuse to sort of not release games, and they just want you to play older games that are already released, even though the whole subscribe thing isn't really my thing. It's just something I don't want to be shoved down our throats, but it's not exactly shoved down your throat. It's just the development that they're putting into this. I feel like the money could be put somewhere else. Then again, the Xbox gaming division is poor. They are not funded enough by the Microsoft at all. So they're already struggling enough with their finances, and they're having trouble selling games in that already. So they can't even fund themselves. And I don't entirely blame Xbox for that, but they got to work a little more on exclusives. I feel like Sony can go in cruise control at this point to beat them. Although they did show a lot of games on this presentation, a lot of them felt like it's already stuff we already know about. They showed it last year. Will of the Wisp, that should have been released already. Why is that having another trailer? It's an indie game of the smaller development company of Microsoft. Why is it being showed again? This game should already be released or released soon. I know they got to promote it. That's the standard thing they need to do. But I don't think this is like an entirely important game to be showed at E3, especially as a secondary trailer, which wasn't as good as last year's trailer. But it still looks like a good game. But you got to bring it more than that. The indie showcase I thought was garbage. Unfortunately, I saw I'm a Nintendo fan, and I'm gonna want to get exclusive Nintendo games. I saw Wargroove on the list. That was supposed to be a exclusive indie game for Nintendo. I mean, good on Wargroove, the developers there, for moving their game to other systems or whatever. But I guess they destroyed an exclusive deal with with Nintendo and their Switch. So, I mean, it's good for them, bad for Nintendo, I guess. But I don't think that game was entirely popular anyway, so that's probably why they shifted over. But that game does look really good. I really want to get Wargroove. They didn't show it really. They showed it for like 2 seconds, but I just noticed it was there. So, yeah, no longer an exclusive. Not a big deal. It's not the biggest game on Earth. It's really nothing in the whole grand scheme of things. Metro Exodus. Okay, I'll talk about that maybe later. That is an important game I do want to talk about. Now, we can quickly go over Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3, they showed that, surprisingly, on Xbox's stage. I think this is just to prove that they're actually talking to Japanese developers and that. They're talking to Japanese developers, but not in the way I really want them to talk to them. I want Microsoft to talk to Japanese developers in a way that they can get third-party exclusive titles on their system. New development titles, not ports, not bringing older games over. Like Nier Automata and Kingdom Hearts to come. I've never liked Kingdom Hearts or the Disney aspect of it. But I know it has a big following, and it does look like it's catered toward the fans, and I think there is a lot to be liked about it. So I'm not going to shit on it, but it looks really good. That's all I can say. Not for me, but it does look really good. Just Cause 4. Just Cause isn't that popular, but I guess it has a select fan base. That's not my thing. I'm not a fan of the whole military blowing up stuff. That's for other people, but I mean, it's good for the people that actually enjoy that. So yeah, you can go grab that if you want. I'm sure it'll be good. It looks actually pretty decent for what it is. When I saw the Halo trailer initially, the first thing that came up, I thought it was gonna be Turok or like a Jurassic Park game, because we just saw dinosaur looking things, dinosaur footprints. We saw, then we saw rhinos with 2 horns on them, and then I thought, okay, well, this is looking a little different than the dinosaur game. And we saw Master Chief's helmet and people putting flares up, and I thought, well, that's not exactly what I thought it was going to be at all. But it's there. They're developing it, and we got no more information on it. So that game is guaranteed to be either late next year or delayed until 2020. Yeah, so that's a long way to think about it, but they had to really show something exclusive for their system, because it's what you got to do at E3. That's all it's about, really, mostly exclusives. Horizon, they always beat the shit out of this series. Horizon is it's getting released. Not Horizon, sorry. Forza gets released every single year, I swear. I remember there was one year where they released like 4 Forza games in a single year. And no, I lied about that. There is, including this game, there's probably like 6 Forza games on the Xbox One. That's longer than the system has actually existed, I'm pretty sure. That's probably not right, but it's definitely 6 or over. And you know, this series, it's so basic. I've played this series a couple times, and it's really a basic racing simulator that has almost no customization. If you want a good racing game with good customization, you go play Need for Speed, the older PlayStation 2 titles, because they're actually good. And this game tries to be too realistic. I mean, that's the whole thing about Forza, yeah. And then of course, you know, they want to add multiplayer stuff to it, and then the thing is, yeah, people like Forza and racing games. I hate racing games personally, but it doesn't look any better than the other Forza games. Seriously, you could get Forza Horizon 3 or the previous ones, or even the Forza series, not Horizon, and have pretty much the same experience as this, except, well, you're in a different environment. It's open world. For a racing game, it's not that important to have open world. You got seasons that change. That they said it makes dynamic changes to the environment. From what I could see, it made no changes at all to the environment. If they have a demo at the booth, but Microsoft don't have a demo, they don't have a booth at the E3. They have a mixer booth, which I don't understand what that's all about, if they actually have their games playable there or not. Probably not, because I know half their games aren't ready at all. They're all pre-alpha and stuff. I'm not... All I saw was people racing. They weren't even racing. They were just driving around the map with each other. Doing what? What were they doing? Please, someone tell me in the comments. Tell me what were they doing in that gameplay. I saw absolutely nothing. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Forza Horizon 4 is complete garbage. And I will not touch that. Just like the rest of the series, I will never touch it again. And that's not even to do with me disliking racing games. If they made a decent Need for Speed game, I would get it. If I can do all the good customization and stuff to the cars, which they've stripped away from the series, Need for Speed is now trash, I'm not going to touch it. So unless they make a really good change that people want, keep features that people want, not take them away, and stop ramming multiplayer down people's throats. They say you can enjoy it solo, but you know for a fact that the experience is going to be stripped away just to make people play online and get Xbox Live Gold. So to charge people to get a subscription for that, you know, it's all a big ploy. And yeah, I don't like how this multiplayer these days are being rammed in our throats. You know, especially forcing online only. That's my biggest concern for all online-only games, which is probably 80% of AAA games these days. Unfortunate. Fallout 76, we didn't really get gameplay. All we saw was characters walking around on the map, but this game does look, it looks promising. You look at the map and it looks huge. They said it's 4 times bigger than Fallout 4. Which automatically just yells. I mean, it could possibly be very empty open world, and that's something you definitely don't want. You can make something as big as you want, but it can be empty as hell and not many things to do. But Bethesda, I know they really do a good job with a lot of their RPG games, so I have faith in them to develop this game. Tonight when they show off their games, they're obviously going to show gameplay of Fallout 76, and I'm definitely sure it's going to be really good. Not sure why it's called Fallout 76. It makes almost zero sense. They could have just called it Fallout 5, to be honest, but they for some reason wanted to do this. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good. I can't really say too much because they didn't show anything. All we have to see is gameplay. All they have to do is work off Fallout 4 and make it better. Fallout 4 was a decent Fallout game. Well, I thought it was really good, actually. And yeah, it can only really get better from here because they can just improve on the gameplay. Division 2... no one was really asking for Division 2. That game was super popular for a month when it released, and then it was dead because the game was entirely broken. People hated the multiplayer, but you know, it's Ubisoft. They have to they really got to shove games out as much as possible every year. And you know, this is probably the placeholder for Assassin's Creed this year. Surprisingly, didn't see Assassin's Creed in this show, but they're going to show it. When are they showing it? On the 12th? I think, yeah, before Nintendo's thing. So, yeah, Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure will have a pretty alright showing. It's going to be better than the embarrassment that was EA. I'm not going to talk about EA. That was disgusting. I didn't want to. I honestly don't want to watch EA's conference next year at all live. I just rather skip through most of the thing and just see what's important. I'll talk about Anthem later, I guess, because Anthem looks great. Cuphead has DLC. That's cool. Not much to say. Battletoads is finally back. Rare is working. Is it even Rare that's working on it? No, it's not even Rare. It's just straight up Microsoft Studio that's working on it. So it's 2D, which is what people want. It's completely retro, just like Battletoads on NES and the arcades. And they got co-op, so that's pretty standard for Battletoads. I'm pretty sure in this day and age with 2D games, they can get it out fairly quickly and add some good gameplay to it, not just basic gameplay like the older games. They can add heaps of stuff to it to make it great. And I'm sure they can put their minds together and make the characters really interesting and give them unique movesets and stuff. It'll almost be like Ninja Turtles if you think about it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't really screw up Battletoads. I don't know how you can really screw it up. It's really not that hard to work on that title, honestly. Captain Spirit, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that. Dying Light 2. So, Dying Light, the thing about Dying Light is, like, it looks good, the gameplay is good, just like the first one. And the thing about Dying Light 1, obviously it's the same people who worked on Dead Island worked on this. And when I first played Dying Light 1, I thought, well, I hope this is like Dead Island but better. The gameplay was pretty much better than Dead Island, but they completely took away any of the RPG skill trees in that, which is probably what I liked about Dead Island more than any zombie game. It was just fun as an RPG, not just say, well, let's whack these zombies. But I think it works well with Dying Light 2, because I mean they could always bring back skill trees, but you don't have the character select or anything, so you can't exactly choose what character you're using. You're kind of stuck with the monotone sort of protagonist who just goes and saves the island or whatever. It's fairly standard for zombie games. That's why I've never liked zombie game stories at all, because the story is so basic. It's, well, everyone's infected from a virus. No traditional zombie storyline. Just, it's always a virus. They always call them infected. They never call them zombies. It's always find a cure and then someone dies at the end. Someone important dies at the end, and it's the same story for every zombie game. I will get this game though, as it has really good gameplay, and I'm convinced it'll be. I know it'll be better than the first one, so they can't really go wrong with this game. I wonder if so we got Exodus, Will of the Wisp I've already talked about, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Why did they even have a trailer for this? This game is already out. Okay. The trailer was for a new map. So who cares? It's on PC. No one plays this game on Xbox. the game was broken. They had to put like a million gigabyte update just to get the thing to work, and it's trash. I hate this game, and I hate the developers because it turned in. It's just pre-bought assets, and they want to sue the people who made Fortnite who actually developed the game and actually made the game, as opposed to editing pre-bought assets. Even though I still don't like Fortnite as a game, the developers of PUBG, they really are just pieces of shit. Screw PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I hope that game dies. It pretty much is already dead. The Sea of Thieves update, I'm excited because I'm an active player of Sea of Thieves. They got two free expansions coming, one in summer and one in winter. So that's something to look forward to. It looks like they're bringing back, they're bringing skeleton crews. So there's going to be AI ship fights, which is interesting because it can just be a bit annoying when fights against multiplayer just go on and on forever, because you could just go on until everyone loses their supplies. I don't know. I feel like they need to fix up ship combat a lot in that game, but I mean, there's a lot of things they need to fix in that game. But regardless, I'm excited for the things that are coming to Sea of Thieves. I've pretty much gone over everything except Metro, and I'll talk about what's the game? Anthem. So I'll talk about Metro quickly. Metro, when they showed it last year, I thought the gameplay looked really good and solid. And now that I've seen it this year, they showed more gameplay. They're revealing the story in that. And I'm definitely more excited for this game now. This game is actually looking really good. There's no release date, which is... Hold on. February. Okay. It comes out the same day of Anthem. Okay, that's a bad idea. That is a way to really ruin the sales of your game. Releasing it right next to Anthem. That's not a good idea. Okay, well, it comes out early next year. I'll be playing it later because I'll be busy with Anthem, of course, because I'm going to be going hard on Anthem. That's a really bad idea, but the gameplay was good. It looks like there's really good gun customization and stuff. So yeah, I can't wait for Metro Exodus. That's gonna be a really good game, and it looks like they have really good open world involved with it. So yeah, that's something I definitely want to pick up, especially when it gets cheap soon after Anthem. I'll be busy with Anthem for a long time. But yeah, so let's just talk about Anthem quickly. Not that this has anything to do with the show that Microsoft had, but Anthem looks like the best game of the show, to be honest. Like, that Anthem does look absolutely amazing. It looks groundbreaking. It's the open world I feel like people have been wanting for a very long time. Not so much mechs and stuff, but just a big open forest, post-apocalyptic and stuff. The story seems pretty good. It doesn't seem like some copy and paste of like war and stuff. It seems like it has a lot of potential, and they're really I feel like they're ruining it a little bit with the whole multiplayer thing. They like to say that you don't have to play multiplayer to enjoy it, but you know for a fact that they're going to shove that down your throat. I talked about that last year, and it feels the same. Also, just quickly, I want to talk about Division 2. When they showed the gameplay, it was so cringy when they showed off the players having their banter. It was like the whole scripted, trying not to be scripted. It does not work. It didn't work with Anthem last year. It doesn't work with Division, and they really dialed it up to 10 with this one. And yeah, it was a bit embarrassing. Don't do it again next year, please. But yeah, Anthem looks like it's got so many elements that are added to it that just aren't in that many games, and it just has so much potential. And they said they're going to be supporting the game for years to come, and you can't really go wrong with that. So overall, it was decent. They didn't end up showing no exclusives. Like, we didn't see anything until really the end. I mean, we saw Crackdown, which should have been released last year. Will o' the Wisp, we saw that last year. In terms of new reveals, we saw Halo. What else did we see? We saw Gears of War, and with the other Gears game, the Gears Tactics, and that Gears Pop, which I don't want to talk about that. And that's pretty much all they showed that was exclusive. And yeah, I mean, I've talked about pretty much anything that's of major importance in this show. They really need to up their game next generation in terms of exclusives, but ignoring exclusives in that, I mean, really decent show. They showed off a lot of world premieres in that, and the game of the show for me was that Sekio Shadows Die Twice. I need to figure out how to pronounce that properly, but that was definitely the highlight. That game looked absolutely phenomenal, and it's probably going to be released maybe mid next year. I'm not sure. I don't know when typically they like to release From Software games. I know Dark Souls 3 came out in March, so maybe it should be around then. But I'm actually going to leave it off there because I'm kind of hungry and I want to get something to eat. But yeah, I will be back again tomorrow night after Sony's presentation, and I'm pretty sure that's going to have a lot more exclusive titles to show off, and hopefully we see Final Fantasy VII, because that game I feel like has been dead for years now, and yeah, we definitely need to see that. So yeah, look forward to Sony's and especially Nintendo's, of course, every year. I'm going to end it off there. I'll see you in the next live stream.